So the first agenda item I wanted to cover was feedback from the Southwest Pacific work plan meeting. Unfortunately, Berlin and I weren't able to attend it. So, Stuart, I'll give you a couple of minutes. I don't want to put you on the spot, whether it's possible for you to give us an update. But in summary, we took the work that we've been doing related to our Southwest Pacific goals. If you remember the goals that we've identified around working in the Pacific Way, and supporting the MSDI IGIF assessments, etc. We'll pop the PowerPoint into the chat, the 3 goals. As a reminder, we've taken that to the work plan meetings, and that's all been added into the Southwest Pacific main work plan document for us. So everyone's really pleased with what we've done and can see the thought that we've put into thinking about our goals and activities and where we want to go, and that was appreciated. So Stuart, has that given you enough time to think about, is there anything else from the work plan meeting to feedback?
I don't think there was, no. So especially cut and paste. If I share my screen, I'll share the plan, so you can see just what we've done and what I've done. So in terms of just cut and paste everything into the spreadsheet. Those that were leading, those that were attending the meeting, kind of talked through them a little bit, but at very high level. And yeah, so there wasn't any other comments or thoughts on that. So we'll get this tidied up, and then I think the idea that we'll get this circulated at some stage. So somebody has put in here, I don't know if that was me or I don't think it was me, in terms of IGF maturity assessment, which kind of feeds into this activity here. But anyway, yeah. So I don't think there was any other comments coming back, feedback, other than kind of accepting it as you're the experts in this group and you kind of pulled all these things together. So
Brilliant. Cool. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you for showing everybody the work plan.
Do you want to see everything else on it, or just to give you a feel for the other stuff, or you just leave it as is for the time being?
See what people think. I was going to say I think we'll share the whole work plan when the version comes out,
when it's done,
available.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah, when it's done.
Yeah.
And would anyone like to see any of the other activities and coming from the other working groups?
Deafened by silence. That's good.
Cool.
Okay, good.
Excellent. Brilliant. Thank you very much. So the next agenda item that we wanted to cover is actually talking about our activities for the coming year. We wanted to talk through the priority of those activities, which ones we think we should start first. I think we've agreed that there's too many for us to start all at once, and it probably wouldn't be practical for us to try and get them all done together. And talk about options for how we progress the top priority activities that we've identified. Welcome, Andric. Thank you for joining us. I thought you were out today.
Thank you, Helen. Yeah, I'm just joining for nearly about half an hour. I'm on duty travel though.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you for making it. I could see you were out of office there, so yeah, really good of you to be able to join us.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Helen. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll share my screen, but if it's easier for people to just open the slide deck themselves, I've popped that into the chat window. Please, just if you can't open that, let me know. I'm not sure if it.
I cannot open it, but if you sharing your screen, that's good.
Cool. Can everyone view that?
Mm.
Okay, I'm going to go to slide 5. See if this, yeah, cool. Let me see if I can, sorry guys, you're all going to see yourselves for a little bit. Oh no, you're not. I've done it correctly. I'm just going to set this up so I can see you and the goals at the same time. Got that, cool. So these were our 3 goals, and underneath each of them, the 3 activities that we wanted to pursue. We've already identified 2 of them as sort of a longer term things for us to undertake. So yeah, just wanted to thoughts from the group. Which ones do people think are our most important priority activities that we should kick off first? It seemed like a rub of the hands then, Anna. I was like, yeah, which one's first?
No, that's my serious thinking phase. I'm like, okay, how can we maybe by trying to find out how much resources in what time frames that would take, and so that would give an indication of, you know, what can we do in a short time, like low-hanging fruits, what would be much more resource how would you say that? Yeah, what would take more resources and more time, and maybe then decide, you know, according to the appetite and yeah.
Yeah,
would that
cool.
be
I
a
love
fair
that.
way of choosing and yeah, just a thought.
Yeah, cool. Andric.
All right, thanks, Helen. So one of the activities we could actually complete this year, hopefully, is the MOUs between IHO and SPC. So we've received the draft from John Nybeck, and we are reviewing it. And we do have a CBET 2030 in Nandi. So we are looking at hopefully signing during the margins of CBET 2030, the MOU as well. So that's one of the activities we could achieve. Yeah,
okay,
thanks.
cool. Well, this let me. Oh, it's like a little child colouring in. Look at that. I've never used that before. Let's try the pen. Okay, Stuart.
Yeah, I was just going to say, are there any dependencies or not dependencies, but other activities going on in the region that some of these might tag on to or connect into? And I think, as Anna's kind of indicated, is there a bit of an exercise to go through to say what's the size of these things, what's the resource required, where are the connections with other things going on in the region, either through SPC or other working groups? You've got an activity there to align and engage with other working groups. So is maybe that is that something a bit of a start to understand what else is going on in the region that you can support with some of these activities?
Can I just mention something, Stuart? I mean, in support of that, Helen?
Yeah, please go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are working with UNGGIM to have a deep dive session on IGIF. The agenda is still in progress. If you foresee some of these things on IGIF hydro to fit in there, we can consider that during the 1-week workshop, which is happening 2nd week of November in Suva, straight after CBET 2030.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. So we kind of almost for that activity, we could almost kind of identify and document all of the other working groups that are taking place. So we think that would be something that we could pick up this year. This one. Is that correct? Have I understood people correctly?
Yes. Yes, exactly. So that's one of the things which we are looking on the working groups. That's again these are working groups with the Pacific Geospatial and Surveying Council too as well. Yeah.
Cool. Stu, is your hand come back up again? Sorry, I'm on
sorry.
one screen, so I'm flicking between windows.
I'll shut up in a minute.
No, please don't. Never.
So that's good to know about from Andrew. Thank you. So if there's an opportunity, then you've got activity 2.1, promote the work already completed. So is that to promote the work of the iGIF videos that that this working group's been doing? Is there an opportunity, Andrew, for the working group to be part of that, or to present or do something? And then maybe, although you got it as a longer term activity 2.3, then you got those targeted efforts to support the iGIF. So is there anything that SPC, South West Pacific, can do together in supporting the implementation in the region? And I think that's one of the kind of ongoing actions from the commission meetings, that kind of closer cooperation and working together with between the commission and SPC.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we could definitely consider those activities too as well. Again, as I've mentioned, the agenda is still in the development stage, and we are trying to strengthen the working groups and bring in the experts to support in the lead of these working groups too as well. So which is 3 of them, and again we can highlight it through the goals which we have here. Incorporate this into some of the activities into the workshop.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks to it.
So we think that 2.1 is a priority as well, something that we would want to get started this year.
Yep, agree.
Yeah, I think there's an opportunity to make that. Yeah.
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 Brilliant. And that would also be this one as well, I guess. This is the promoting the work that we've undertaken. So we can link all those together. Okay, so something we talked about quite a bit is the importance of understanding kind of why and the need for the iGIF, the adoption and implementation of iGIF. So, as much as I'm thinking, my head is thinking, let's not try and take on too much. Apologies, Dave, I've just noticed your hands up. I did wonder whether that activity might be 2.2, might be one that we want to be able to get started on. Would people agree with that? Yeah, seen a thumbs up. Cool. And Dave, sorry, I didn't see your hand initially.
No problem. And look, you might want to delay this. Firstly, apologies for being late to the meeting. I had a call at 10 to 9 saying I had an urgent meeting at 9 o'clock. So I just want to get my head around this whole thing here. The goal is to work in the Pacific Way. what is the intention of that? I mean, to me, because I missed the last meeting, I guess I've missed some of the context. To me, working in the Pacific Way is actually more about culture, family, faith, and those sorts of things. Whereas what we've got here is actually more about alignment with existing activities operating and occurring within the Pacific. So what are we actually meaning by that goal?
Yeah, so we are talking very much around the culture, and we appreciate that that's not going to be something that's going to be quick for us to do, but we want to be able to work with people in alignment with their culture and their ways of working. So yeah, you're right, Dave, to notice that a lot of that is about how we engage with other people. So one of the things we wanted to do was initially to start with our terms of reference, because this is what guides us and how we are working, and aligning our terms of reference with the MOU between IHO. That's, those are our foundation stones for how we work and how we operate. And then also as well, if we start linking ourselves up with other working groups and how they're working and how they're running within the region, just because we've always, one of our main sort of purposes have always been to make sure that we're adding value and we're helping people within the region. So sort of focusing in on that and making sure we're doing that in the right way, we're not running this meeting and operating this meeting in a way that's not inclusive or working for other people.
So in that terms of reference, you'd have a statement around what the Pacific Way, quote unquote, is. So I sent an email between the two meetings with a bit of a blurb on. So the Pacific Way the Pacific Way can have some negative connotations. I'm not saying that to be offensive, but it can. A lot of people misunderstand the Pacific Way as being negative rather than the positive side of taking into account putting first family, culture, faith, beliefs over outcomes and capital gain. So I think if we're going to use that terminology, we need to have an understanding of what it is. So I would suggest it needs to be captured into the terms of reference, and it probably needs to be pulled together by people who live and breathe the Pacific. We can't do that from the outside. I could help because I've worked a lot in the Pacific, but it's probably something that needs to come from the Pacific, probably led by SPC. And I think if you're outside of the region, you probably may not understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. What do you think, Andrick?
Yeah, I get a point what David has mentioned, and what we can do is that's what we're trying to work on accordingly with the Pacific Geospatial and Surveying Community when they meet in December, and we are looking at socializing this goal for MSDI working group of the Southwest Pacific Hydrographic Commission. Again, that's the start of it, and socializing this idea. And already they are aware of iGIF initiatives through UNGGIAM2 as well. So this is where we are coming from, is basically, having them understand of the resources which are available through UNGGIAM to define the frameworks or, develop the frameworks towards these good initiatives which they have in the country in place. Because these frameworks which are available, they will help them, develop their national strategies and national action plans or country action plans. So this will assist and provide support through our initiatives which we have here now. So that's why we would like to do that. Again, it's the Pacific Way. I like the way you mentioned it, and the culture is different. And that's what we would like to do, is socialize it to them and make them understand what is the bigger goal we would like to see, that the leaders, the Pacific leaders, understand, this component of geospatial and hydrography as well, and surveying too as well. Given that they have made a declaration in 2021 of well, conserving the maritime zones or jurisdictions as well. So some of these things which they have made a declaration sets up the baseline for the work which we would like to do as well. Yeah.
Cool. So I think if I've understood this correctly, I think actually 1.2 is something that that's kind of almost the final piece once we've sort of done some research and done the engagement with the other groups. We then make the adjustments to our terms of reference. So would everyone agree with that not being kind of highlighted as the thing that we're going to be top priority, that we're going to be picking up straight away? I think I can see some nods. Yeah, cool.
It seems like you can start doing some of the alignment activity, and then that's helping to develop the work, the sort of the ways of working. Like you say, we can add it to the terms of reference in the longer term, but we could probably start some of the activities for aligning with other working groups and other communities.
Okay, cool, brilliant. Thanks, Dan.
So, Helen, something just I would like to mention is on the terms of reference, which David mentioned earlier, is during that workshop, this will be also discussed, because the working groups for the PGSC, which is one is on positioning, which includes hydrography and terrestrial and aviation. The second one is capacity development, and the third one is the data management and policy. So with that, the terms of reference have not been defined for PGSC, and I think this is one of the goals that those working groups, and I think some of these things can be highlighted during that too as well, and this is which is very important, and that's what we need is experts been providing support for the working groups for the Pacific Island countries too as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so should we, I know we've been talking about them already, but options for how we kickstart those. How many have we got there highlighted now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those 5 activities. How do we kickstart those? And also as well, really interested if there's anybody that would like to volunteer to take the lead or undertake particular actions under each of any of those activities. So we've talked quite a bit about the promoting the work. We've got the meetings coming up soon, where we're gonna lead those. Do we need to be identifying who's going to be attending those? Making sure we've got the materials ready. Other than Andrik, is there anybody that's planning to go to those meetings that are coming up in Suva? Belinda's probably going, isn't she?
Yeah, Belen will be going. I think, unfortunately, Lynn's can't or won't be, but certainly Belen will be going in terms of SWPHC 2030.
Helen.
Yeah.
Just another meeting which is upcoming as well, which I have not mentioned, is actually coordinated through the UN Global Juridic Center of Excellence through Nick Brown, and that is the initiative on joining land to sea. and that is happening in Indonesia. And Pacific country reps will be going to that meeting. So we do have some funding through that through UNGDC to go to that meeting. And I have just provided the list of the names who would be the potential, who will be the ones who will be representing their countries, and active people who would be contributing towards that meeting. So, and that also includes a couple of legal names too as well, where they have been very active in the space of the maritime boundaries. And also hydrographers are more, and also participants who are responsible for the geospatial and surveying departments too as well. So it's a mix. I have nominated those. Well, I've suggested those names, and then they will be writing to those countries too as well. So it's in particular looking at 15 from the region. Yeah.
15. Wow, that's great. And when does that?
And then that's second or the first week of December, 2nd December. So that's in Indonesia. I think it's will be co-organized with the Indonesia as well. Yeah.
Brilliant. So we've definitely got some opportunities there for engaging and promoting, and looking for the alignment. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who might be also going to that meeting. So it sort of sounds a bit like we ought to create a sort of, because I don't know about you, I'm starting to forget all of the names of those working groups already. So almost a bit like we need to sort of create a little bit of a map of all of the different working groups that's coming up, who from this group might be attending or would be able to pass on some information to the chair to get those shared, or have a look through the agenda and what materials can we review pre or post meeting to see where that alignment might take place. Does that sound like, I think that sounds like a good plan to start doing that. Is there anybody who would be willing to sort of create that kind of I'll call it engagement map, for want of a better word, of all of those different various meetings? I don't mind popping, I could pop something together and share it for people to populate if they're attending, or add more things too.
Yeah, I'm happy to add to it. I probably just wouldn't be able to do the baseline. I think you'd have a better understanding of the core.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't mind putting a list together either. Helen we can work something out, can't we?
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks.
People can add to it as they find out stuff, find out about which events they're going to.
It'd be useful to know if they're hybrid meetings as well, so people within region who maybe can't travel, might be easier for them to attend rather than somebody's on the other side of the world.
Yeah, good point, Stu. We'll mark if they're hybrid, because I'd probably be able to attend some if they're hybrid as well, but unlikely to be able to go if it's in person. Cool. So if Dan and I start to create us a nice little list, and if we know there's a member attending already, we'll add that in, and then we'll share for anyone else to populate if they're also planning to attend. And then we'll work out how we're going to, because the key thing really is, it's not just about us making sure we've got somebody attending those meetings. It's about that, how do we promote our work that we've already completed, but it's also about doing that little, small piece of analysis to sort of say, how does our working group align with the work that that's doing? Is there any, I think we've noticed quite a lot through the working groups we're going, there's a lot of duplication of work. Is there duplication of work? Is there opportunities there for us to link up? So that's a real key thing that we're trying to identify from those. Dave?
So with these aligned communities and activities, are you talking things such as PGRSC, FOS4G, AusCBED, and those sorts of things as well? Are you talking about governance bodies or anything that basically could or should have a hand?
Yeah, so a couple of those I hadn't heard of, Dave, but yeah, definitely the Pacific Survey Council group. Is that what it's called? Council? Yeah, we've definitely...
It's PGSC, but there's also the PGRSC, which is the Pacific Geospatial Remote Sensing Conference as well, which is run out of the UNSP. So, I mean, what we could do is just put down a list and say what they are, and then maybe someone like you decides whether they're relevant or not.
Yeah, but we've definitely noticed with one of them is that doing a lot of IGIF work, aren't you, Andrick, in the...
Yeah. Just Helen, just to put the difference between the two, is one is the association, which is actually more looking at the user group focus, and the other one is more on the governance, which is actually endorsed by 11 countries. So it's basically it's the one which we as SPC as well seeing from the looking at what the objectives are. So that's how we are engaged with as well. So again, so that's the user conference going to happen in the last week of November, and I think it will be a good opportunity as well, if the experts are going there and the members are going there, so we can engage them too as well, like what David mentioned.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's a way forwards for I think a few of them. Should we discuss a little bit activity 2.2, the gathering feedback on the value and the need for the implementation and adoption of IGIF? So this one came up, one of our members, Julianne, mentioned it actually at the Hydrographic Commission, is aligning yourself with the 9 strategic pathways in IGIF, conducting an MSDI maturity assessment. Actually, it's all quite a lot of work, and it's, he's been very positive about it. He wasn't being negative, but actually do people understand why they're doing that and for what purpose? And what we wanted to do is to and this kind of, I think this links with the Pacific Way thing actually, Dave, is rather than us being prescriptive and saying, oh, you need to align to IGIF, we can't tell people to do that. That's something that they need to choose to do because they believe that that's important for their organization. So we tweaked the wording of this activity to focus really in on that value and need. So we created the activity about gathering that feedback. And any thoughts on how we go about doing that and how we would approach that activity? Excuse me.
Well, does that follow on from activity 1.3, where once we've identified all of the potential groups that we can and should align with, we reach out to them and have a discussion about who we are and what we're trying to do, but also see what they've already done in that space?
Yeah, definitely. We've talked about kind of a survey before, haven't we? See who's looking at implementing, adopting IGIF, asking them for information around why they're doing that, or those people who have, what have they achieved from it? I know that Son, he's working towards it quite a lot, isn't he? And I'm sure there are other countries. Is anyone aware of any other countries that are looking at it?
Andrew, where's Tonga looking at it?
Yeah, I think Tonga are. Well, I think they have something in place. Maybe certainly got a country plan. I don't know what, so I'm not sure what the next step is after that. Maybe Andrew may have a better feel on that.
Yeah, Fiji is looking at it. Kiribati is looking at it. Tonga is as well. I mean, just to what Stuart has mentioned, but I think we are looking at Kiribati and Fiji as well in there. Tuvalu has has raised the interest towards this as well through the survey office. Yeah.
So one step maybe to approach those countries who have made that decision to go down the route as to, what did you see the value and the need of going where you were going, and could this be a bit of a session at the next commission meeting, on an agenda item to actually kind of gather input?
Yeah,
that's a nice idea.
Yeah, great idea, Stuart. Sorry not to mention Vanuatu and Papua New Guinea is also there. They have also quite strong interest towards these two as well.
Cool. So it's quite a lot, really, isn't it? That's quite a lot of countries, really, who are looking at it. So I think we should be able to gain quite a bit of understanding from them. Yeah.
And to see what have they had to go through in terms of putting or some kind of framework or structure, legislation or what around it to be able to progress it.
Yeah, definitely. That's
it would
really...
be the PG that has the best visibility of all of that, wouldn't it, Andrew?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
Okay. Would anyone be willing to, just as an idea, just draft an email that we could send out to those contacts? I think most of them are part of this working group, so we can contact the people that from those countries that identified to be within this working group. If not, I'm sure we can quite easily find another contact email address. Would anybody be willing to create a draft of an email explaining why we're doing this activity? And
I can take that one.
Brilliant. Thank you, Andrew.
Well. I mean, putting David in there too as well. Happy to work as well if David can support me.
Nice move, Andrew.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much. And also, as well, I was going to say is the same with the action that Dan and I are going to look at with the list of things coming up is please don't feel like you have to wait until the next meeting to share that. Please send it through before the next meeting as soon as that's ready, and then we can have a look at it and discuss it offline. So yeah, please feel free to do that, and Dan and I will with our list. As soon as we've pulled something together, we'll share that with everyone for comments and feedback. Okay, so how are we doing? So actually that's kind of, I think that's getting us started on those activities. Is there anything else that anyone's thinking of that we really ought to be trying to do or pushing forwards with?
I think you might find that that's enough to keep going, and bear in mind this is over and above everybody else's day job. So let's try don't bite off too much, and let's just see how it goes. I think. Yeah,
you're right, Stuart. We've we knew that we've identified quite a few activities there, and we want to be careful. So yeah, you're right. Okay, cool. Thank you. So anything that anyone else wants to discuss with relation to our plans for the future, anything else I want to raise before we go on to the next agenda item? Cool. Okay, so the next agenda item was some feedback from the sorry, just get my notes back. Feedback from the Marine Geospatial Working Group meeting that took place in July. Andrew, was it yourself that attended that one? The one in, was it Indonesia?
Yes. Yeah.
How did that go? Because that was talking about the land. That was to do with land and the sea as well, wasn't it?
This is the same one.
Confused.
No, this is no, not in July. Yeah, no, but that was earlier at in Indonesia. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Was there anything from that session?
Yeah, I think there was a presentation which was actually shared around that too as well. So something around that we have developed from that session is Singapore having an interest of working with us on, well, have started to discuss with potential stakeholders in terms of starting on this initiative of joining land to sea. So we had a conversation. There was actually a presentation being made through as well. I think I can share that presentation in this forum too as well, or I can share it with you and then you can reshare it. So Brilliant. It was presented by Singapore, and again, we had cases from Fiji and Tonga as well, and from the region too as well, being presented in there too. So I'm happy to share that presentation, which was actually a virtual presentation, a virtual virtual meeting too as well. So all that was that initiative which was being led by Singapore through UNGGIM AP. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Andrek. Any questions for Andrek on that meeting that took place?
Cool. We did had a follow-on meeting after that with Singapore separately with SPC, and they would like to have more engagement with SPC. But I think Singapore is also looking at other stakeholders too as well to discuss on this joining land to sea initiative too as well. There are challenges too as well, so those challenges were also being captured too as well in our meeting. And I mean, again, starting from the legislation, how it's been captured of adopting only one single point on the land, and then using that or adopting that as a reference point as going out into the sea too as well. So some things which when we're talking about datums, that's what it was discussed too as well. So I think Singapore is through the Maritime Port Authority and the Land Authority, they're combining together as forces to work on these two as well. So Perry and Victor are working on that. Yeah.
Cool. Brilliant. Thank you. That's really interesting. Good piece of work. Okay, we've rattled through the agenda today. We're now on to any other business. Would anyone like to raise anything under AOB? I've got a couple of things.
I do have one, Ellen. Cool. This is basically, we are producing some tidal calendars through the project, and there's a strong interest from countries to develop island tidal calendars as well. So we are doing that for the countries now. Again, that will be published by end of the year, and we can share that as well. Yeah. So that's another thing happening. So that's for your information. We do have a specific Tides app as well, which has been developed, and that Tide app can be accessed through Android or Apple as well. Yeah, so that's something for the group here. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. That sounds brilliant. Cool. So I had a couple of AOB items. So I just wanted to check that IHO members have seen the circulation letter with regards to participation in activities in IHO bodies. So there was, I'll share it on the screen here. Haven't had a chance to study it, so. Working a bit quick time here. So, these letters, they don't cut to the chase, do they?
Just while you're scrolling through to try and find it, which more likely the very last page. So Adam, who was leading this, he's with a few of us and with Ben also from Fiji, have actually gone out to the countries within the commission that hadn't responded so far, just cool. As a bit of a chase up. So hopefully we'll have a few more responses.
Brilliant. Yeah, cool. That was what I wanted to cover, Stuart. Thank you for jumping in there. I've only just got this earlier this afternoon, so I hadn't a chance to go through it yet. But yeah, so what we wanted to do is highlight that this survey is taking place if you haven't had a copy of it already, and please do encourage your country to respond. Cool. And then my final piece of AOB, and apologies for embarrassing you, Anna, but I can't let you go without us saying goodbye. But Anna, is this your last meeting?
Yeah, so Brad Cooper will probably take over. He works very closely with Stuart, has a background in hydrographic surveying, so very good asset for this group. Yeah, it's 10 days to go until I leave Lynn. So yeah, it's been great to be part of this group. So, and I'm sure that somehow our paths will cross again. So yeah, thank you very much for having me. And yeah, it's been great contributing and participating in all those different activities and work. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Anna, and likewise, I really do hope our paths cross. It's been absolutely fantastic working with you. You've been such a great member of this working group, and yeah, really contributed and added loads to all of the meetings. We're going to miss you, but I remember Brad from Southwest Pacific in New Zealand, and yeah, looking forward to working with Brad more as well. But we will miss you, and thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
All the best and good luck for your next adventure. Oh, any other business?
Okay. I just had some admin stuff to raise. I think a couple of meetings ago we talked about adding some contact details to the web pages. So I was going to add sort of email addresses for Helen, Belen, and myself, but I know some other working groups just put the whole contact list for everybody in a document, but I didn't know how everybody felt about that, or whether to share everyone's email addresses and subject everyone to the spam emails that will follow, or just keep it to you know, a few people just in case people want to get in touch with the working group or join or find out more about what we do. So I didn't know if we could get a general consensus what people think, whether to put a whole membership list or keep it smaller. Or do people not really care either way?
So my thoughts would be initially is just to keep it to the chair positions and the secretary positions, because it does mean as soon as your email address is up there, you are going to get spammed. But is that, what do the other, you said, did you say the other working groups sometimes put email addresses up there?
Yeah, I've seen some that just, yeah, they put a membership list out and it's everybody, which we do. We have a membership list, but it's just names. I don't put people's contact details on there. But yeah, I have seen other membership lists that have just got contact details as well. So I think you could do either way. Okay,
how do people feel about that? Like, I'm sure a lot of yours email addresses are out there anyway, but equally, unless it's needed, unless we need to do it, I guess we don't have to. What do people think?
I would say maybe the chair and vice chair, possibly the secretary as well. But I think that as a starter, just looking on the web page, there's a lot of people listed there as terms of members. So you'd really, if you wanted to do, you need to canvass all of them to say, can we put your email address out? So I think maybe initially those three positions: the chair, vice chair, and secretary.
Yeah, cool. We'll stick with that for now. Yeah, cool. Brilliant. Thank you for that, Dan. Those things are important. So the next thing to agree is the date of our next meeting. So ordinarily, I think we'd be looking at the end of October for our next meeting, but I was wondering whether we might want to sort of get together a bit more, a bit sooner than that, to talk about progress on our actions, maybe either sort of beginning of October sort of time frame. So how would sort of the 2nd of October look, or maybe the 9th? How does that look for people's diaries?
Raz diaries looks okay.
Excellent. Ninth. Okay, cool. Andret's called it. Let's go with the 9th. Brilliant. We'll go with the 9th of October then. Fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.